everyone, I am back with another video of circulatory system this time. So we will be starting with the next chapter for grade 10 biology ICSE. Circulatory system mein I am starting with the second half of the chapter first, and then later on in another part I will take the first half. So let's start with the heart. Where do you think heart is located in human body? I know most of you think that your heart is present towards the left side of your body. Common misconception. But it is wrong, it is a myth. Actual location of heart is in the center, not towards the left side, not towards the right side. Actually, it is present in the center between two lungs, just above the diaphragm. You remember the diaphragm, the muscle which helps in breathing? So just above diaphragm, between two lungs, what is present? Your heart. So the location of heart in the center between two lungs above the diaphragm. Then why this common misconception that heart is present on the left side? So the triangular part of the heart is slightly tilted towards the left. The triangular notch, the triangular part of the heart is slightly tilted towards the left, and the contraction is maximum at this part. That is why we have this misconception that heart is on the left side, because the triangular part is slightly tilted towards the left side. But what is the exact location of the heart? In the center between two lungs above the diaphragm. And you have done this in lower grades. How many chambers are present in the heart of humans? 4 chambers. So there are 4 chambers present in human heart. The above chambers are called auricles or atrium. What are the above chambers called? Auricles or atrium. Below chambers are called ventricles. So there are 4 chambers in human heart. The above chambers are called auricles or atrium. Below chambers are called ventricles. Heart, human heart is divided into 2 halves. Left half, right half. So human heart में 2 half है. एक left half है, एक right half है. And what do you think divides the human heart into left and right half? This line. This is called septum. What is this called? Septum. Septum divides the human heart into left side and right side. You know the difference between oxygenated and deoxygenated blood? The blood which is rich in oxygen, oxygenated blood, the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide is called deoxygenated blood. Can you guess which side of the heart will have oxygenated blood? Left or right? Left side of the heart has oxygenated blood. Right side of the heart has deoxygenated blood. A quick recap. Where is your heart present? Left, right or center? In the center, between two lungs, above the diaphragm. What is the common misconception? That heart is present on the left side. Why? Because the triangular part of the heart is slightly tilted towards the left, and the contraction is maximum at this side, giving this misconception that heart is on the left side. But where is heart actually present? In the center. How many chambers are present in human heart? 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the human heart there are 4 chambers. The above chambers are called auricles or atrium. Below chambers are called ventricles. The human heart is divided into 2 halves, left half and right half. So there are 2 sides. Oxygenated blood, the blood which is rich in oxygen, flows on the left side of the heart. Deoxygenated blood flows on the right side of the heart. What divides the heart into left and right side? Septum. Do you think there is protective covering of your heart? Is there any protective layer for your heart? You have done this in lower grades and you should know the answer. The protective covering of the heart is called pericardium. So there is a double wall membranous layer. There is a double wall membranous layer called pericardium. What is pericardium? Protective covering of the heart. This is very important question. Protective covering of the heart is a double layered structure. And what is the name for that protective covering? Pericardium. Pericardium is the protective covering of our heart. Pericardium में there is a fluid present. The fluid which is present in the double layer of pericardium is called pericardial fluid. What is the name of this fluid present in pericardium? Pericardial fluid. Can you guys guess the function of pericardial fluid? क्या function है pericardial fluid का? What is the protective covering of the heart in your body? Pericardium, double layered membranous structure. Pericardium में एक fluid present होता है. What's the name of that fluid? Pericardial fluid. और ये pericardial fluid का function क्या होता है? It is a very very important question. Pericardial fluid absorbs shock. It protects your heart by absorbing shocks and jerks. So what is the function of pericardial fluid? Pericardial fluid absorbs shocks and jerks and protect our heart. Now coming to a very important topic, double circulation in heart. So this is the diagram of a heart having 4 chambers: left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle, lungs, body tissues. So you know there are 3 types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. In your body there are 3 types of blood vessels. What are the 3 types of blood vessels? Arteries, veins and capillaries. You know the difference between arteries and veins? There are too many differences we will study. For now, just to understand double circulation, the one difference which is very very important for you to know: arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood towards the heart. A for artery, A for artery, A for away. If a blood vessel is going away from the heart, it will always be a artery. If a blood vessel is going away from the heart, it will always be a artery. A for away, A for artery. If a blood vessel is coming towards the heart, suppose this is heart. If a blood vessel is coming towards the heart, it will always be a vein. There is no exception to this rule. Arteries always carry blood away from the heart. Veins always carry blood towards the heart. Now, and there are few terms which are associated with the organs of your body. Example, renal. In excretory system, we have seen the word renal is associated with kidney. The word hepatic is associated with liver. Can you guess the word which is associated with lungs in your body? The word pulmonary is associated with lungs of your body. So there are certain words which are associated with organs in your body. Renal is associated with kidney, hepatic is associated with liver, and the word pulmonary is associated with lungs. Now look at the diagram for double circulation in your body. The 4 chambers: left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle, lungs and body tissue. So lungs say oxygenated blood will come to which side of the heart? So there are 2 sides of the heart, left side and right side. Oxygenated blood comes to which side of the heart? Left side. So oxygenated blood from the lungs will come to the left side of the heart. Which chamber on the left side? Left auricle. So oxygenated blood from the lungs will come to left side. Which chamber? Left auricle. Now this blood vessel is coming towards the heart. If a blood vessel is coming towards the heart, it will be an artery or a vein? It will be a vein. This vein is coming from lungs. Which word is associated with lungs? Pulmonary. So this vein is pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein brings oxygenated blood from lungs to left auricle. From left auricle, the oxygenated blood will come to left ventricle. These are the valves, I will explain about them. Oxygenated blood from left auricle will come down into left ventricle. Now from left ventricle, this oxygenated blood will be supplied to all the body tissues with the help of this blood vessel. This blood vessel is going away from the heart. It is going away from the heart towards the body tissue. If a blood vessel is going away from the heart, artery or a vein? A for away, A for artery. It will always be a artery. Can you name the biggest artery of your body which give oxygenated blood to all your body tissues? It is aorta. The biggest artery of human body which supplies oxygenated blood to all the body tissues is aorta. Now what will happen? Deoxygenated blood. What is deoxygenated blood? The blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. So the deoxygenated blood from all the body tissues will be collected and taken to which side of the heart? Deoxygenated blood comes to which side of the heart? Right side. Which chamber? Right auricle. So deoxygenated blood from body tissues will be collected and will be taken to which chamber of the heart? Right auricle. Now this blood vessel is going towards the heart. Artery or vein? Towards the heart is vein. Can you name the biggest vein which collects deoxygenated blood from your entire body and takes it to the right auricle of the heart? Vena cava. What is the name of the vein? Vena cava. Vena cava is divided into two types. Superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava collects deoxygenated blood from the upper part of your body. Inferior vena cava collects deoxygenated blood from lower part of the body. So from your body tissues, all the deoxygenated blood will be collected and deoxygenated blood will go to which side of the heart? Right side. Which chamber? Right auricle. The blood vessel which is taking the deoxygenated blood to the heart. Blood vessel is going towards the heart. It will be a vein. Name the biggest vein which collects deoxygenated blood from your entire body. Vena cava. Now deoxygenated blood from right auricle will come down to right ventricle. From right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood will be supplied to all your body. True or false? False. Deoxygenated blood from right ventricle will go to lungs for the process of oxygenation. For the process of oxygenation. Deoxygenated blood from right auricle will come down to right ventricle. From right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood will go to lungs for the process of oxygenation. Now this blood vessel is going away from the heart. Away from the heart. It will be a artery. It is going to lungs. Which word is associated with lungs? Pulmonary. So this will become pulmonary. This will become pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery will take deoxygenated blood to lungs for the process of oxygenation. Lungs will oxygenate the blood and oxygenated blood will again come down to left auricle with the help of pulmonary vein and the cycle will continue. I will repeat everything. Be very attentive. This is very important part of this chapter. So there are three types of blood vessels in your body. Arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries always carry blood away from the heart. If a blood vessel is going away from the heart, it will always be a artery. A for away, A for artery. If a blood vessel is coming towards the heart, it will always be a vein. There are certain words which are associated with organs of your body. The word pulmonary is associated with lungs. The word renal is associated with kidneys. Now let's look at this diagram. There are four chambers: left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle. Left side of the heart has oxygenated blood. Right side of the heart has deoxygenated blood. Lungs, body tissues. Lungs में क्या होगा? Oxygenation of blood. So the oxygenated blood will come to which side of the heart? Left side. Which chamber? Left auricle. Oxygenated blood from the lungs will come to left auricle. So the blood vessel is coming towards the heart. Artery or vein? Towards the heart is a vein. because it is coming from lungs. Which word is associated with lungs? Pulmonary. So pulmonary vein brings oxygenated blood from lungs to left auricle. Oxygenated blood from left auricle will come down to left ventricle. Now this oxygenated blood from left ventricle is supplied to all body tissues by the biggest artery of your body called aorta. Now deoxygenated blood from all the body tissues is collected by a vein and taken to which side of the heart? Right side. Which chamber? Right auricle. So this blood vessel is carrying deoxygenated blood and taking it towards the heart. Towards the heart will be a vein. Which vein collects deoxygenated blood from your entire body? Vena cava. Now deoxygenated blood from right auricle will come down to right ventricle. Now this deoxygenated blood from right ventricle will go to another organ for the process of oxygenation. Which organ? Lungs. So deoxygenated blood from right ventricle will go to lungs for the process of oxygenation. This blood vessel is going away from the heart. Away from the heart is vein or artery? Artery. Going towards the lungs. Which word is associated with lungs? Pulmonary. So pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood away from the heart towards the lungs for the process of oxygenation, and this process will continue. Now there are valves present in the heart. There are valves present in the heart between left auricle and left ventricle, bicuspid. What is the name of this valve? Bicuspid. There is one more name given to bicuspid valve. It's called mitral valve. M-I-T-R-A-L. There are valves present between left auricle and left ventricle. What is the name of this valve? Bicuspid. The valve which is present between right auricle and right ventricle is called tricuspid valve. And these valves are called semilunar valves. What are they called? Semilunar valves. Aortic semilunar, pulmonary semilunar. Now coming to the next topic, valves of the heart. So there are valve present in the heart. The valve which is present between left auricle and left ventricle is called bicuspid. Another name is mitral valve. The valve which is present between right auricle and right ventricle is called tricuspid valve. Opening of left ventricle into aorta. There is another valve present, aortic semilunar. Opening of right ventricle into pulmonary artery. Another valve present called pulmonary semilunar. Imagine these valves as gate-like structures. I will explain what is their function. Imagine them as gate-like structures. The oxygenated blood from lungs comes down to left auricle. From left auricle, the oxygenated blood has to come down to left ventricle. When blood is coming from left auricle to left ventricle, this gate-like structure will open or close? Will open. So the oxygenated blood is in left auricle. Now it has to come down to left ventricle. This gate, bicuspid valve, will open. Blood from left auricle will come down to left ventricle. When the blood comes down in left ventricle, this gate-like structure will close to prevent the backflow of the blood from left ventricle to left auricle. So what is the function of these valves? To prevent backflow of the blood. Bicuspid valve will open so that blood from left auricle can come down to left ventricle. Once the blood is in left ventricle, this gate-like structure, bicuspid valve, will close to prevent the backflow of the blood from left ventricle to left auricle. Similarly, deoxygenated blood from right auricle comes down to right ventricle. When blood is coming down from right auricle to right ventricle, this gate-like structure will open so that blood from right auricle can come down into right ventricle. Once the blood is in right ventricle, this gate-like structure will close to prevent the backflow of the blood from right ventricle to right auricle. Similarly, aortic semilunar and pulmonary semilunar also prevents the backflow of the blood from aorta to left ventricle, prevents the backflow of the blood from pulmonary artery to right ventricle. So the major function of all these valves is to prevent backflow of the blood. And what is the name of the valve which is present between left auricle and left ventricle? Bicuspid valve, also called mitral valve. What is the name of the valve which is present between right auricle and right ventricle? Tricuspid valve. We call it tricuspid because it has three cusp like structure. We call it bicuspid because it has two cusp like structures. The valve which is present between left ventricle, between opening of left ventricle into aorta, aortic semilunar. The valve which is present at the opening of right ventricle into pulmonary artery, pulmonary semilunar. And the function of all these valves is to prevent backflow of the blood. I'll give you an example. Suppose the question comes, write down the location and function of tricuspid valve. Location mein what will you write? It is present at the aperture between right auricle and right ventricle. But what is the function? Do not just end up writing it prevents backflow of the blood. Explain it from which chamber to which chamber. So the complete statement will be, it prevents backflow of the blood. Tricuspid valve prevents backflow of the blood from right ventricle to right auricle. This will be the complete statement. So what is the location of tricuspid? At the aperture between right auricle and right ventricle. What is the function? It prevents backflow of the blood from right ventricle to right auricle. Similarly, bicuspid. What is the location for bicuspid? At the aperture between left auricle and left ventricle. What is the function? Prevent backflow of the blood from left ventricle to left auricle. You have to memorize the location of all these four valves along with their function, which is same. It prevents backflow of the blood from where to where. This you have to write in your answer. So now we have seen the entire diagram of double circulation. This was the entire diagram of double circulation. What is double circulation? Blood flows twice through the heart to complete one cardiac cycle. So there are two types of circulation in human body, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. This was the diagram we have seen for double circulation. So there are two types of circulation happening in this diagram to complete one cardiac cycle. What are the two types of circulation? Pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. What is the definition for double circulation? Blood flows twice through the heart to complete one cardiac cycle. Once in pulmonary circulation, the other one in systemic circulation. That is why the circulation in humans is called double circulation. In this diagram, can you guess which pathway is for pulmonary circulation? Which pathway is for systemic circulation? So pulmonary circulation starts from right ventricle till left auricle. This entire pathway from right ventricle to left auricle, the entire pathway is pulmonary circulation. From left ventricle to right auricle, this entire pathway is systemic circulation. The word pulmonary is associated with lungs. So pulmonary circulation from right ventricle to pulmonary artery to lungs, lungs to pulmonary vein, finally to left auricle. So this entire pathway from right ventricle to left auricle is called pulmonary circulation. Systemic circulation from left ventricle to right auricle, from left ventricle to aorta, aorta to body tissues to vena cava, and finally in right auricle. This entire pathway is called systemic circulation. So blood flows twice through the heart to complete one cardiac cycle. That is why it is called double circulation in humans. Once in pulmonary circulation, the other time in systemic circulation. If they will ask you to explain the entire double circulation, make this diagram, write down this pathway. Pulmonary circulation में right ventricle to left auricle. From right ventricle से pulmonary artery to lungs, lungs to pulmonary vein, and finally in left auricle. This entire pathway from right ventricle to left auricle. This entire pathway is pulmonary circulation, and this pathway from left ventricle to right auricle, this entire pathway is systemic circulation. Left ventricle, aorta, body tissues, vena cava and right auricle. Is this clear? This was all about double circulation. Now coming to a very important board question, ventricles have thick muscular walls, explain. So you remember the four chambers of the heart, above chambers are called auricles, below chambers are called ventricles. The question says the walls of the ventricles are thick and muscular compared to auricles. Why? So double circulation के diagram में you remember ventricles have to supply oxygenated blood to all your body tissues, to the farthest point of your body, from your toe to your head against the gravity. So because ventricles have to supply blood to the farthest point, blood flows at very high pressure from ventricles. This high pressure of the blood can rupture the walls of ventricles. So to prevent the walls of ventricles from rupturing, they are thick and muscular. So why ventricles have thick and muscular walls? Because right ventricle give blood to lungs for oxygenation, but left ventricle has to supply oxygenated blood to all the body tissues, to the farthest point in the body, from your toe to your head against the gravity. So the blood flows at very high pressure so that it can reach the farthest point. This high pressure of the blood can rupture the walls of ventricles. So to prevent the walls of ventricles from rupturing, they are highly thick and muscular. Is this clear? This is the answer. In the answer, write about both the ventricles, right ventricle, left ventricle. Write all the keywords, farthest point, toe, brain, gravity. Write the complete answer. Now coming to a very important question or topic for your board exam, myocardial infarction, commonly called heart attack. You have to memorize the term myocardial infarction. Board people are not going to make it easy for you. They are not going to ask you to define heart attack. Of course, they will use the difficult term. So you have to memorize the other term. Myocardial infarction is the other name for heart attack. Before I start explaining about myocardial infarction, I want to talk about aorta first. So the biggest artery which supplies oxygenated blood to all the body tissues is aorta. But do you think it is possible for single aorta to give oxygenated blood to 50 trillion cells of your body? There are around 50 trillion cells present in one human being. Is it possible for one aorta to give oxygenated blood to all the 50 trillion cells of the body? Obviously no, right? That is why aorta divide into multiple branches to give oxygenated blood to all the cells of body. Now let's talk about heart. Heart is continuously working, your heart is continuously working without getting tired, without taking any break. Oxygenated blood is needed by the heart as well. So which blood vessel supplies oxygenated blood to the heart? Aorta, coming out from the left ventricle, supplies oxygenated blood to all the body tissues. So the branches comes out from the base of the aorta. This branch is called coronary artery. Coronary artery arises from the base of the aorta, and coronary artery is the one which supplies oxygenated blood to the walls of heart. So which blood vessel is supplying oxygenated blood to the heart? Coronary artery. And coronary artery comes from aorta. From the base of the aorta, the branches come out. These branches are called coronary artery, and coronary artery is the one which is supplying oxygenated blood to the walls of heart. Now let's look at myocardial infarction. What happens in heart attack? Do you think that in heart attack your entire heart dies or one part of the heart dies? In heart attack, also called myocardial infarction, one part of the heart dies, not the entire heart. Now let's look at the diagram how one part of the heart dies. Suppose one of the coronary arteries is blocked because of fat deposition or cholesterol deposition. When one of the coronary artery gets blocked, this part of the heart will not receive oxygenated blood because of the blockage in corresponding coronary artery. So this part of the heart will die, not the entire heart. The part of the heart which is not receiving oxygenated blood will die, and this condition is called myocardial infarction. In myocardial infarction, if the blockage is in one of the coronary artery, the corresponding part of the heart will die, not the entire heart, and this condition is called myocardial infarction, also called heart attack. This is very important definition for your board exam. Please memorize it, understand it. Now coming to the next heart condition, which is called angina pectoris. It is very important heart condition. They can ask you to define it. So what happens in angina pectoris? Minor chest pains. Minor chest pains. What is the reason for minor chest pains? Insufficient supply of blood to the walls of heart. So when insufficient blood reaches to the walls of heart, because of the insufficient blood, minor chest pain happens, and the reason or the condition is called angina pectoris, and the reason for minor chest pain is insufficient supply of the blood to the walls of heart. Both these definitions are very important for your board exam. So please memorize them, understand them. And that's it for today's class. For rest of the chapter, move to the next part. Till then, bye. Hey, hello everyone. So I am putting a lot of efforts in creating these videos for you. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It will help me in reaching more audience. Thank you.